Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Callon, 4968, coming at you live with episode 10 of the DSC-Cast podcast. I want to say, I'm going to show a quick thank you out to my friends and fans Big Escape for giving us access to their discography for today's stream, as well as future streams. You'll be hearing some of their music in the background to hide out all the mysterious sound from my grandmother's loud TV, which she won't turn down anymore, but whatever. A couple updates for you guys today. A couple updates for you guys today. Tonight's stream is going to be a Callon of Duty match in Rainbow Six, not Rainbow Six, and Minecraft DSC, CMP. We will explain everything that happens with that later on tonight. We're sure we can get a whole bunch of other people into the game. I know Dag, I know me, I know Daniel, I know Spooky, I know Tony are gonna compete. We might need to get a fifth, a sixth, sorry. So we'll have to figure that out. Again, my streaming schedule has unfortunately been kind of changed a bit, so the way it is currently, I'm only streaming on Sundays for the DSC-Cast, and streaming on Sundays for the DSC CMP stuff, as well as on Thursdays whenever I'm streaming Rainbow Six Ranked or Rainbow Six Event streams. Depending on how things go later on this week, we might be getting a arcade game mode playlist update this weekend, so we'll have to see. We'll have to see how that goes. But speaking of the DSC, we have gained a new member in this week's podcast. This week's podcast features Zayden, who is currently not in the call right now, but he's working his way into it. I know Tony is currently here, so we're gonna have to. So me and Tony are probably gonna end up bantering until we can get more people in here. I know Gag said that he's gonna try his best to get into the podcast himself because he just got off work about 37 minutes ago, I guess. So there's that. So I'm gonna undeafen Tony. I'm gonna switch us to our special screen, and we will get to this now. Hey Tony, you there?
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the DSC-Cast podcast. This is Tony. And of course he cuts out the second he starts saying anything. Whatever. Typical. Typical Tony-ish. Anyways, again, welcome to the DSC-Cast. Again, I want to send a special thank you to Big Escape for giving us access to their Spotify catalog to play on stream for y'all. And today we're probably gonna be talking movies, games, and random other stuff. Well, we have no real plan going into this podcast because, well, we didn't really plan this podcast. Oh, and hey, where you go? The Gag's here! Woohoo!
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you're a little loud. Let me turn you down just a sec.
Alright.
But you right at 69.
What?
I had to turn you down, Gag.
I had the mic like way far from me too.
Well, it's my headset. My headset's been kind of weird. So, like, last night, I went to go put my headset on, and then, well, I woke up this morning, and the, padding on the left side of my headset, gone. Like, it popped off sometime in the middle of the night. I can't find it anywhere. I'm gonna have to look for it after the stream, but, yeah, my headset's been kind of weird, so I have the full, brutal force of any sound coming from my left ear, coming from my left headphone directly into my ear. So we got that we got to worry about. Oh well. But welcome to the podcast, Jack.
I'm sore.
Well, I mean, you're not used to working till 3:30 in the afternoon.
No, that's not it. I was carrying trash down the stairs and I fell
Oh.
down the stairs.
How?
Your step your stepmother was laughing at me.
That's not surprising in the least bit. Well, more reasons
Anyway,
out.
it was a huge box. A
What?
huge box. I couldn't see the steps. So.
Ah, well. Yeah, well. Anyways, welcome all to DSC again. So, we're gonna be bantering. Yeah, we're gonna be, I don't know if Spooky's actually joining us. I put her in here and say, hey, you're more welcome to come join if you want to. I know Zayden wants to come join us, but his Wi-Fi is being kind of weird, so I told him if he can, come on in. If he can't, that's perfectly fine. We got the main cast of the DSC here anyway. Me, Tony, and yourself, so. And might as well get right on into it here. We'll start the discussion proper in 3, 2, 1. Resume the countdown, and the countdown is going live right now. We have 1 hour 15 minutes to pack everything that we want to talk about into the podcast. So let me turn down the music just a tad.
One thing I would like to request, if we do get into it for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, please don't go into episode 2. I barely got halfway through it before I was like, oh snap, I gotta go and do adult stuff before having to hop onto this podcast.
How far did you get into it?
Not even halfway through episode 2. I finished episode 1, but...
Okay, then we can talk about episode 1. We can talk about our hopes and ideals for this episode, so... for these last 2 episodes. So, for those of you who are somehow unaware, Disney Plus has been releasing new episodes of the Marvel TV series, The Falcon and Winter Soldier, which follows Sam Wilson, aka the Falcon, played by Anthony Mackie, as well as James Buchanan Barnes, aka Bucky, also known as the Winter Soldier, also known as the White Wolf, also known as Captain America in the comics, at some point. Played by Sebastian Stan, aka Mark Hamill, young Mark Hamill lookalike.
As you and half the internet bring up, yes.
Well, the only reason
Sam Wilson's also considered Captain America later in the comics too.
That's
he
true.
Technically still is in the comics, as long because there's 3 of them. There's original Cap, there's Sam Wilson, and I believe they brought Bucky Barnes back to being Cap again in the comics as well.
I haven't watched I haven't read any of the comics in like so long, so I'm not entirely up to date with some of this stuff. I just know that more of the recent comics have been adapted into Marvel TV. For example, Robbie Reyes, Ghost Rider, back in season 4 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and now they're talking about doing Ironheart, Miss Marvel, and all of that for the rest of like the Young Avengers and stuff like that. So
yeah. The only reason I'm able to catch up on comics, aside from going and reading them myself, is I follow on YouTube Comic Storian, also known as Elephant Monsters. They're really good at taking certain key points and basically reading them to you. But they do also recommend you go and get the books yourselves and actually read and take a look at the art itself. Which, if I could afford constantly, I would have a massive library of comic books right now. But just going with them, I'm able to catch up on things that I've missed. So.
Right. Comic Story has always been a favorite channel of mine. I haven't kept up with your videos since like the Dark Knight Metal walkthrough, as well as the so I've been very distant from the comics. I've had other stuff I've had to worry about since then. So
that metal thing is already done.
I know.
that was a fantastic thing.
Mm-hmm.
But
I was
they
just
have
I was just saying that I
they
could give you guys an idea of how long it's been since I last watched their content. So.
well, they did do a comeback to it because they had like a semi sequel that's currently released.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's complete, but they have that going on,
Right.
and they also have the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Last Run,
Right.
also being released as well.
Right. Alright, sorry about that. I accidentally unplugged my mic again. uh, but yeah, we got comics all over the place. Anyways, back to Falcon and Winter Soldier. The story takes place after, Avengers Endgame. Spoiler alert for Endgame if you somehow haven't seen it by now. Captain America, decided to retire after the end of the film and passed the shield on to, Sam Wilson, aka the Falcon, in order to imply that he becomes the new Captain America. And the series follows his decisions revolving around that ideal, as well as the reactions and relationships between um, uh, fellow superhero Bucky, as well as some former Hydra stuff and all kinds of other stuff going on in the background. So it's gonna be I feel like it's gonna be a fun series, having watched both episode 1 and episode 2. Um, so, Tony, you wanna get into it?
Okay. First things first. For the episode 1, the main thing that I thought was the interesting route they decided to go with was to have Bucky, or not Bucky, Nightmare. Well, I'm kind of like stuttering.
Mm.
It's a thing, but the fact that Bucky is going and having flashbacks to times where he was the Winter Soldier and had to go and take therapy sessions for it
Mm-hmm.
is definitely an interesting thing that they decided to go do, because
Yeah.
one, you think that at going into Infinity War, when you see that he was supposed to be being treated for what he had gone through to go and help him break from uh, his programming
Mm-hmm.
as the Winter Soldier, it makes sense for him to have to go and that, you know.
Alright, so when I kind of laughed when I saw that, not because of the serious nature, because I'm like, it's Bucky. I understand why they did it. The only thing is, I don't understand why they didn't do it for Wanda, for WandaVision, because she definitely needed therapy.
Well, I think the reason why they didn't do it for Wanda to go and have that is due to the fact that she probably wouldn't have wanted to go and do any of that. She probably would have been off doing her own thing anyways, which is what she did. She probably would have avoided it and couldn't.
Right.
The therapy sessions.
Mm-hmm.
Therapy probably would be Jack.
Well, I mean, it's not to say that she didn't need it.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff lately has been a lot of mental health issues and stuff like that. Because, I mean, sure, after Endgame, a lot of the people that we've seen so far, like, for example, Wanda and Vision, Bucky and Falcon all died during the events of Infinity War / Endgame. And they are being brought into this world where literally everything has changed over the past 5 years since of Endgame. So it's like I'm glad that you're giving these guys a spotlight. I'm glad that these guys have the chance to show how human they really are. Because I mean, the idea, the problem I've always seen with like superhero movies is that sometimes superhero movies try to make the heroes either too human or they make them too superhero. Like it's a it's two sides of a coin, and these shows seem to be giving the characters more right down the middle, I guess. Like they're
even more without going and making him seem too bland.
I mean, they're human too. I mean, here's a scene in the second episode. I'm not gonna spoil it for you, Tony, because I don't know if you've seen it or not, but well, there's a scene where Anthony Mackie gets into a little bit of trouble, just because he's walking down the street with Bucky, and they're bantering, and well.
Yeah,
What?
I remember that scene.
Yeah, one thing leads to another, and Tony, I'm pretty sure you can assume what happens here.
Yeah.
But part of me I actually enjoyed that bit, not because of the obvious metaphor and everything, because I'm obviously glad that they're acknowledging that and they're bringing it forward. And showing how it actually happens in real life. But the reason I enjoy it is because it's like you're humanizing your heroes in ways that haven't been done before. Like showing Bucky in therapy, because I mean the dude's been through so much that it's
being frozen for 100 years like Steve.
Well, Steve, that's the difference between Bucky and Steve, is that Bucky came out, got brainwashed by Hydra, got refrozen so many different times, while Steve only had to go through the fall once. And when he came out, he was surrounded by people who he could trust, for the most part. So, which is like the big difference between the two, you know?
Yeah, I understand that.
Because I'm sure Captain America needed therapy too, but I mean, this is Captain America. He's the first thing he really says when he comes out with the eyes is like, I had a dance. I had a date. And, I mean, Captain America is one thing. I mean, he's Captain America. But I'm glad. I'm hoping to see Chris Evans at some point during this, where it's like Sam or Bucky has to go to them for advice, and suddenly it's like the 5th episode, shit's about to go down. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Can you help me?
Josh, you can't help it. Because they actually mentioned in the first one, whenever they're doing the shield, that he died.
No, he hasn't died.
They actually mentioned it in there that he died.
No. Good. He hasn't died. He actually hasn't died. If he died...
I swear they said that he had died because it was a memorial thing for him. That's why they were doing the shield the way they looked.
It was actually a memorial for him as if he died, but he did not.
Because, I mean...
It's a secret that he came back as an old man.
Mm-hmm. That's the main secret. Basically what they're doing is, everyone believes he's retired or he's on a secret mission. Like, that Torres guy believes Steve is out on doing a secret mission on the moon or something like that. Like, so, he hasn't died yet. The memorial...
He might as well be.
That memorial scene was more Sam passing on the shield to the United States because he doesn't feel worthy and got off the shield. Yeah, not because he died.
Well, and there you go. It just shows you how mistrusted that the government can be for that.
Mm-hmm.
It shows that he doesn't have. He shouldn't have to trust the government because of what they did later on.
With John Walker. Okay, so getting into John Walker, I don't know much about U.S. Agent in comics. I don't know if he's technically a hero, if he's technically a villain or anything in the comics. But just looking at what he's done so far in the episodes, I'm still trying to decipher whether or not we can trust him. I mean, he seems to have good intentions. He seems, yeah, what do y'all think? Okay,
But then again, you also have to think that Captain America was from the same thing too.
I mean, yes, you're right, but they chose him because he was...
Because of the way he was, yes.
Mm-hmm, the way he was. John Walker is a completely normal human being who just happens to be, like, I don't know, one of the most loyal and decorated U.S. soldiers in...
Are we sure? Are we sure he's normal? Because he's been able to do a lot of stuff in those years alone.
Mentioned. He's talked about it, he's...
Can I point it out too?
Tony, go ahead. You're cutting out a little bit too, but... Yeah.
Sorry. That I noticed when U.S. Agent, which they don't really call him U.S. Agent, but they call him the new Captain America, when they join, where him and his partner joins up with Bucky and Falcon trying to go and stop that caravan getting away, and during the fight, I don't know if you guys noticed it, but at one point the shield, when the new...
There, you're cutting out. You cut out here, we couldn't hear you about that. Repeat what you said.
Okay, so you know that fight scene where they join up together? You guys know that part?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, did you guys notice when the shield came towards Bucky that he didn't catch it with his mechanical arm? He got it with his regular arm.
Oh, no, I did not.
When he was on the train, yeah.
Yeah, he caught it with his regular arm, meaning that his power to throw it with throwing that shield isn't as strong as Steve's, because of course he doesn't have the super soldier serum for himself.
Either that or Bucky is a lot stronger than we all think.
No. It's Bucky's didn't get a lot stronger. He is strong still. He still has the abilities from when he was the Winter Soldier.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that he was able to notice that the shield wasn't going as fast and as hard as when Steve throws it, he was able to go and just catch it with his regular hand.
Right.
Which, if you remember in Captain America Civil War, when him and Cap were fighting against Tony, every single time that they bounced the shield between each other while fighting Tony, he was using his mechanical arm.
Mm-hmm.
So it just goes to show that, yeah, sure, there's a new Captain America, but due to the fact that he isn't as strong as Steve and...
You doesn't see him as a threat, almost. But yeah, I understand Bucky and Sam's complacency regarding John Walker. I want to be able to trust him. I just don't know if I can yet, because I mean, sure, he he seems like a good guy. He seems like he wants to be the best person he can be, but he also has this mysterious quality about him. Like, we don't know everything about him. Cause so, like Dad says, we might not know if he, for all we know, he could eventually get the super soldier serum. Because, I mean, we got these flag smashers who are all souped up on God knows what. Also, the main leader of the Flag Smashers, played by the same girl who did Enfys Nest in Han Solo, in the Solo Star Wars movie. So that was cool to see. But anyway, with the super soldiers, we have no idea if the reason John Walker's after them is to find out what they're using, so he could eventually get it himself. So we don't know what's going on with that. We don't know.
Josh, if you go in there and you read his bio on Wikipedia, he does end up getting the super soldier.
Well, I mean, yes, I know that. I know that. What I'm trying to say is, because the comics and the films are two different things. You don't know if they're gonna accurately depict that, and you don't know if that's what they're doing yet in the show. Because, I mean, the show version of John Walker and the comic version of John Walker are two completely different people.
We also haven't learned everything about him. They only show bits and pieces of who he is.
You know, what his true mission is.
See, the next few episodes, we may actually see who he actually is, who he is, who he says he is.
Yeah, we got about 4 episodes left of the show. There's only 6 episodes in this show. Compared to the 9 from WandaVision, but these episodes are a lot longer, so.
Well, it is like 2 episodes in one, so.
Right. I mean, I'm just trying to say, I'm glad that you're giving us longer episodes, because, I mean, and everything. Which, their bantering has always been fun. This last episode, their bantering has been a lot more epic. There's some parts of the second episode I'm sure Tony is gonna get to later, before tonight's, Minecraft stream, so. But, yeah, but the thing is, we also have to get to Zemo, who, I'm not gonna spoil anything from the second half of that episode. I just know that we're getting Zemo later on this season, possibly next episode, who knows. And I'm excited to learn what his functionality is during this show. Especially seeing as how he was the main bad guy from Civil War, Captain America Civil War, and
okay, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. And during that entire process, I mean, he was just a normal guy who tore the Avengers apart. So what's gonna happen now with Zemo, with his meddling, you know?
Yeah, I can't wait to see it, so.
I can't wait to see him in his comic accurate outfit.
Yeah, we'll see. He has to get out of jail first.
If he's even in jail.
Well, we know he's in some sort of prison, so.
Yeah. I'm trying not to spoil shit.
Well, that was at the end of Civil War.
Well, that's
they
true.
They said they were taking him to prison, so we know he's at least there.
Anyways, Tony, any extra thoughts on this before we go into a different topic?
Nope. You guys basically covered most of what I was gonna say.
You know, one other thing I was gonna say is the new John Walker's sidekick.
Battlestar.
I don't really remember a lot of him in comic books. So, I mean, he seems to be almost pointless right now.
Right now he is. I don't remember a lot of him in the comics either. But I will say that I don't know, Tony, you've gone to the, I don't know, Tony, what part of the episode did you leave off on?
I actually left off of that, like, literally when I just stopped watching was right at the point where Bucky was getting arrested. That was it.
Alright.
Okay, so you saw him on the train and everything with Battlestar.
Saw him on with Battlestar. The only reason I want to find out, Bucky was being arrested, so you saw the whole interaction between Sam and the cops, right?
Yeah, I am.
So you also got to meet the original Black Captain America.
Yes.
Which I had not known that who he was until I actually saw some of the reactions online. So that in itself was actually kind of awesome. To find out that there was a Black Captain America, and from the original days as well. So it's always been very interesting. Guys.
I think he's going to be more to the story later on.
I know his son is a member of I know that grandson the kid in the scene was supposed to be a new Avenger. So we'll have to see what happens later on the series. We got 4 episodes left, so I think another about 2.5 to maybe 3.5 hours of content that we're still getting before the end of the season. So
yeah, and we already know that they're in development for new series for Avenger type stuff. So
like we got Loki later this Loki in June. We got Hawkeye later on this year. I know we got Miss Marvel later on this year as well. Yeah, it's not including the movies. Speaking of the movies, did y'all hear about the Black Widow stuff that's going on?
I saw something about it.
So, the update here is that Black Widow is now going to be releasing, I can't remember if it's on June 9th or July 9th, but it will be releasing in theaters as well as on Disney Plus Premier Access. So yeah, we'll be able to watch that when it comes out. And we won't have to go to the theater to watch it, which I'm kind of surprised that it took them this long to get that, taken care of.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, contracts and everything, I can understand that, but, I mean, July 9th. But, yeah, we're finally going to be able to get Black Widow. We're finally going to be able to get that true first piece of the puzzle regarding, Phase 4 with Black Widow. And I know Shang-Chi is going to be coming out later this year in the summer. Right? I believe the summer? I know Eternals is coming out in November. I know Spider-Man Far From Home is coming out in December.
Yeah.
Did you know that Robert Downey Jr. is going to be in Black Widow?
Yeah, we've known that since.
Tony.
Yeah, I know. We've known that since 2019.
Yeah.
I saw it. So.
we were told about that mostly because he brought it up and told me way earlier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've known about that since 2019.
Well, I know he said he was never gonna play that part again.
I don't remember him saying he was never gonna do it again. I just know that he said he wasn't gonna do it in the foreseeable future, and that more than likely that specific scene is more than likely going to be a cut scene from Captain America Civil War or something like that. Uh, because, I mean, the Black Widow film takes place like a month or two after the end of Civil War, and it'll place it in the timeline. So, it might, for all we know, it might take place like a month or two after Spider-Man Homecoming. So, just to give people an idea of where that film is taking place in the overall timeline, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to Black Widow. I'm looking forward to... I don't know if I'm looking forward to Shang-Chi yet, because I haven't seen anything regarding it. I don't know the character, the comics, I don't know anything about the movie itself, other than it's explaining more of, the 10 rings from, the Iron Man movies, so it might have that link. I know, the real Mandarin is gonna be in the film. So, that'll be interesting to see. I know we got the Eternals coming out later this year, which might include a scene with Josh Brolin's Thanos, so Thanos might make a small reappearance later on this year. And of course we got all the rumors surrounding Spider-Man 3, which is Spider-Man Far From Home, which Tony knows about, I know about, I don't know if Dad knows about, but some of the rumors going around with that film are amazing, which I've heard recently that it finally finished filming a few days ago, so we'll have to see what they've come up with.
Yeah, I'm definitely stoked to go and see what everything that's going to be coming out by Marvel's going to be like.
I know that, I'm interested in seeing what happens with Spider-Man in Far From Home, because, I mean, we've had mentioned that, okay, so, end of WandaVision leads into Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness. Doctor Strange is appearing in Spider-Man Far From Home, which is taking place before Doctor Strange into the Multiverse of Madness. Which means there might be a little teaser for the multiverse in Spider-Man Far From Home. So we got all of that multiversal Spider-Verse stuff that's been rumored for a very long time. And I would love to see that, but I'm also interested in seeing what they do if they don't do that. Because they got Alfred Molina coming back as Doc Ock. They got Jamie Foxx coming back as Electro. And, of course, they're both coming back as their respective characters, but we don't know if they're coming back as their original characters, or if they're coming back as rebooted new versions of those characters. You know?
What I heard, they're going to be kind of a reboot.
I mean, that's what I'm thinking as well. But, I mean, I have hope that they're doing a Spider-Verse movie for that, but, I mean, if he goes into a different universe, then yeah, he's gonna be pretty far from home, if you know what I mean.
Right.
So, but yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. Spider-Man movies have been actually really good this past decade, so.
Hey, I'm gonna move into the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back.
So, moving on, me and Tony are going to be going to see Godzilla vs. Kong later this week, in the first film I've seen since my birthday, which was Empire Strikes Back with Dad. I don't know when Tony was the last to see the theater, but I also wanted to take the last, 40 minutes of podcast to maybe talk about our favorite monster movies. Our favorite, just our general favorite monster movies of all time. Gag, if you have any ideas of what your favorite monster movies are, come at us.
Mm. There's so many out
Because I already know my number one favorite right off the top of my head, but I want to see what other people want to say first. I know Tony's watched a whole bunch of like the Toho Godzilla films and King Ghidorah films and all those monster movies. I know there's like Anchorage and everything like that. I would even go so far as to say Pacific Rim is a monster movie. Because, I mean...
Yeah, you deal with the same kind of things, the same kind of Titan stuff and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I would say I have a favorite.
I know that there's one monster movie that we've watched together besides Godzilla 2, which was the Roland Emmerich Godzilla movie. Which, surprisingly, my stepfather actually thought was good, which is saying a lot.
It was alright. I mean, I wouldn't say it was good.
If it wasn't called Godzilla, I would say it was a decent movie. Because, I mean, it's like the Prometheus issue with movies nowadays. It's like, if you get this idea into a fan's mind that it's going to be this franchise. Like in Prometheus, everyone was going to see it because they thought it was going to be an alien movie, and it really wasn't until the very end. So it's like, so it's like that. It's the way I see it is that if you're going to make a movie that's going to be related to a certain franchise, I would personally say go the M. Night Shyamalan route, because M. Night Shyamalan did Split, the film starring James McAvoy and Anya Taylor-Johnson a few years back, which was in of itself, the big twist of it was that it was a pseudo sequel to Shyamalan's earlier 2001 film Unbreakable, which everyone going into that movie had no idea that was going to happen, that was a twist, so they were able to watch the movie as the movie, not as the...
It's just like when they get to Mr. Glass.
Mm-hmm.
How they tie it all together finally.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even with the Split, you weren't sure what was going on until the end, whenever they kind of suggest about the guy.
Right. Like last 10-15 seconds of Split. Up until that point, it's like, okay, it's a good movie. It's very interesting. James McAvoy, give him an Oscar already. And then you get the twist that, surprise, it was an Unbreakable movie all along. I want to see more films do that. I want to see more films that, if they want to tie their film to a certain franchise, they just release it as a movie. Get people to go see it for the movie, not for the franchise. Because then, whenever you go in to see it, and suddenly there's this big reveal of, say, it's an alien movie, next thing you know, everyone's going freaking nuts because it's a good movie. You're not spoiled by the idea that it's an alien movie or a Godzilla movie or anything like that. You get to enjoy the movie for what it actually is, not for what people want you to look at it. And boom, there you go. I mean, I still feel like if Prometheus had done that, Prometheus would have been a much better movie and we never would have gotten Alien Covenant. I feel like the original Godzilla movie, had it not been named Godzilla, had it just been named a different character, because, I mean, that creature was nothing like the Godzilla we know. I mean, sure, it can breathe fire, but, I mean, you know what I'm trying to say. If the creature itself wasn't called Godzilla, and the movie wasn't called Godzilla, I probably think it would have been a great monster movie, but people were expecting it to be a Godzilla movie, so it kind of bombed.
Well, you gotta think of it this way, it's also somebody else's version. Just like you would do, like, your version of Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody has their way of doing it.
Which,
So
I mean, I understand everyone has their own way of doing it, but what the hell? I understand everyone has their own way of doing things. I just feel like with that movie, there's some movies that should be tied to a franchise just by name alone. Because, I mean, so, it's been a while since I last watched the Roland Emmerich Godzilla film, but what I remember is that the film wasn't exactly the most ideal version of Godzilla, you know?
I mean, the only thing that I see that's similar to it is possibly just the monster itself.
And not even that. I mean, sure.
It was an earlier version of it. Yes.
The way
the one that they have now, they made it much bigger and badass.
The one they did now is like the current Godzilla, the legendary Godzilla, is everything I would have thought the original Godzilla would have been with CGI and everything. Which is good. He's beefy. He can kick ass. He has the atomic breath. Hell, Godzilla vs. Kong, he had the original theme. This is the Godzilla that even Toho, the original creators, are like, I like this version of Godzilla. This is the version of American Godzilla that we want. Which is everything I love.
Yeah.
But, yeah, anyways, favorite monster movie, go.
I don't know.
I mean, you probably haven't seen all that very many. I mean, to be fair, neither have I, but...
It depends on how you classify a monster movie. I mean, if you're talking basically like Godzilla, King Kong...
I would even go so far as to saying The Thing or Alien are monster movies. Like, if you want to do a horror movie with a creature, like say Creature of the Black Lagoon, Frankenstein, Dracula, I mean, I would consider even them monster movies. But I mean, you're not to the scale of, you're obviously not to the physical or metaphorical scale of Godzilla or King Kong. But or even the kaiju from. I'm saying monster movie, not kaiju movie, I guess.
Okay.
To help give more of a.
One of the movies that I did like was Wolfman, Benicio del Toro.
Oh, the new Wolfman movie. The newer.
It's not even the newer one, yes. I mean, it made a werewolf look even more scary.
Like a body modifications and the transformation is horrifying to watch in of itself.
Well, the original one that I like the most would be like American Werewolf one, where they actually show him being transformed into it. It may be CGI or whatever they got at the time. It shows it more of him turning into.
Right. I've never seen American Werewolf in London. I know I've seen The Wolfman. I probably need to go back and watch that. I might even go so far as to say that, I mean, you know that I've come up with ideas myself for, like, reinterpretations of old monster movies. Old Universal monster movies. And, I've always wanted to see modern day reinterpretations of them with, like, with last year's Invisible Man. You guys have heard.
Oh, yeah.
That was like,
awesome.
That was like the best modern day update to a classic monster movie I can think of.
I will give you that one.
And I would say Dracula Untold itself was also a interesting and good monster movie. I mean, it had its flaws, it had its downfalls, but it was a. I mean, you can't go wrong with Luke Evans. He's such a great actor.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's so many things about certain monster movies that I can't wait to I can't wait to see what they do with them, but I hope they're not to the scale of the Mummy, the last Mummy remake.
The first Mummy was okay. Even the second one, I would say, is okay, but the third one, all that.
The third one,
we go too far with it.
I think no, they went too far with the Scorpion King.
Well, if they could have used the technology they have now for Scorpion King, it would have been okay.
Right.
But it was too cartoonish.
It looked
that
weak.
was like almost early PS2 graphics.
Oh, that was PS1 graphics. Don't.
No,
PS2 graphics were amazing. PS1 graphics.
PS1 graphics were better than that, and I'm talking about like way early PS2 before they started making better looking games. I'm talking about like first 2 games that they released on the PS2. Those were better graphics on that.
Me and I definitely remember.
Well, I think Josh, you're a little too young for something. Yeah.
It's true. It's weird being the youngest person in the room.
Well, you got to think of it this way: whenever they did the Scorpion King, it was like a cartoon. Okay, if they can go back in there now and redo it with the technology, I think it would look more realistic. Because if you look at it, you actually have things like Buzz Lightyear and all that. They look more real than we did.
Yeah.
So, you know they're fake.
I mean, this is nothing to denounce, like, say, Dwayne Johnson's acting talent, because we all know Dwayne Johnson, he's a great actor. He's always been a great actor. It was just a terrible event for everything. But yeah, so the catch Tony up. I don't know how much he's heard, but we're but in celebration of the upcoming Godzilla vs. Kong film, we're talking about our favorite kaiju/monster movies we've ever seen. Dag's mentioned The Mummy. He's mentioned. We talked about The Invisible Man. We talked about the original. We talked about the Roland Emmerich Godzilla movie, which we've already talked to death on this podcast, but
we've been through things like Wolfman and all that too. So
Wolfman starring Benicio del Toro, the more recent one. Didn't Guillermo del Toro work on that one too?
Think so. Because
Guillermo del Toro has always been a great director for the horror, more. I honestly think that if he were given the reins to do a movie regarding The Thing, he probably could do amazing work with a movie like that.
Yeah.
Because he's great at like the creature effects. I honestly believe that he would be great at doing like more creature effects, stuff like that. But Tony, before I get into like say my favorite monster movie, Tony, why don't you give us your personal favorite monster movie or kaiju movie or anything sort? And we've also included Pacific Rim in the in that list because, I mean, technically speaking, it is a kaiju movie.
Well, if we're going specifically kaiju, I would have to go and say the original Godzilla versus King Ghidorah.
Ah, the original Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, all monsters all out attack.
No, just the original Godzilla vs King Ghidorah.
Right.
There's one before the monsters all out attack.
Yeah, wasn't King Ghidorah a good guy in that movie though? In Monsters All Out Attack.
I believe so. Yeah, I don't remember it in a while.
Well, in a few instances, King Ghidorah was actually a good guy. Very few. But yeah, that movie was amazing. I mean, it introduced King Ghidorah to the Godzilla canon, and I think we can all say, even after King of the Monsters came out a couple years back, that King Ghidorah is still a very powerful kaiju, even nowadays. What were you saying, Joey?
I was just agreeing with you. I do like the fact that the King of the Monsters have done fantastic with getting most of the from the original source material, like Mothra actually looking like an actual moth instead of the little plush Furby-looking creature.
Yeah.
Original, but the original is very iconic, and with the updated look, fans probably would have been like shocked to see that it wasn't like the fluff ball that everyone knew and loved. But with the fact that it actually looks like an actual moth, probably fans actually like it too.
To be fair, if you take a look at the original Mothra compared to like in Mothra's first appearance, it was like Mothra was supposed to be cute because it was supposed to be a friendly monster specifically for the audience to relate to root for. Because of course you got the ugly version of Mothra with Bactra in the original release. So, and Bactra was ugly as hell.
Oh
yeah. Any other monster movies you want to talk about? Because, I mean, we included regular monster movies from, like, the Frankenstein, Invisible Man stuff, all the way up to Kaiju. So.
Okay. Well, if we're getting into actual monster stuff, like actual monster stuff, it took me a while to go and actually stop panicking when I came to watch this movie. But the Sleepy Hollow movie with Johnny Depp.
I don't think I've actually seen that one.
The one with Christopher Walken?
Yeah.
That one was kind of scary, yes.
The only reason I didn't really like it was due to the fact of all the blood and whatnot, and I don't really get queasy because of blood, but I usually absolutely hate horror, and especially when I was younger, it always gave me nightmares straight up.
Right.
But it took me a while to actually get through it and, watch that. And to also learn that that movie was supposed to be an homage to that kind of film style. I don't remember exactly what the name of it was called, but it gives you like all the dull colors, and the only thing that's like oddly bright is like the blood. Everything else is all dull and toned down.
Right.
But anytime that blood shows up on the screen, it's always like freakishly bright red that blood is not known for.
Right.
To learn that was from a different filming style was awesome too.
I mean, I haven't seen the original Sleep Out. I haven't seen that movie ever. I've even gone so far as to say I haven't seen like Underworld movies or anything like that. Resident Evil films or anything like that. As much of a horror fan I am, because some of these horror movies are amazing stories. Like say, I don't know if either of you have watched The Gallows.
Yes.
I still feel like that was a very interesting take on the horror movie. Or even Unfriended, which in Unfriended was a great take on a horror movie. With, I don't know if you guys have seen it, Unfriended.
Yeah.
I just haven't seen the sequel.
I haven't seen the sequel either. For those of you at home who don't understand, Unfriended is basically a film about a group of teenagers in a Skype call who are gathering together, talk about their class and everything. But a year prior, their classmate had committed suicide publicly. Now at this point, they had during a Skype call, suddenly a random person joins and people, all the classmates start dying one by one, and slowly the truth comes out about what really happened to the girl, what led her to that decision, and what came of it.
I thought it was her name that came across there.
They didn't realize, if I remember correctly, they didn't realize it was the ghost of the dead girl until about halfway through the movie, and by that point they couldn't leave the Skype call, otherwise they would die. But the thing that interested me about this is that the entire film, up until the very, very last scene, it's filmed from the laptop screen of the main character. So it's like a screen capture recording of a Skype call of literally everything from the point of view of the laptop of the main character.
Yeah.
Which has been done a handful of times. I know they did it in the sequel, Unfriended Dark Web, and I also know there was a recent thriller film that came out a couple years ago called Searching, where it was basically this dad who was trying to find out what happened to his missing daughter.
Yeah, it's played by the guy from Star Trek, who played Sulu.
I don't remember who it was, but I know they're making a sequel to that movie, and I've always enjoyed the idea of a found footage style film taken from the screen of technology, you know. But yeah, lots of ghost horror movies are great nowadays. Some of these horror movies are amazing, to say the least.
You know, if you want to talk about horror movies, one of the best ones I've ever seen is 13 Ghosts.
13 Ghosts. You ever heard of that one?
It's got Matthew Lillard in it, and they get trapped in this big cube thing.
Mm-hmm.
And all these different ghosts are trapped in there. And as they go through certain things, each one gets let loose, and they have to kill it.
Ouch.
You need to watch it. It's horrific. Have you seen it, Tony?
I have not.
If you don't like horror movies, you won't like that.
Um.
Yeah, I said I really don't do well with horror.
I think there's one horror movie that came out recently that I feel like everyone should watch just because the last few scenes of it were that badass. The Cabin in the Woods.
Mm-hmm. That was pretty cool.
They're watching all that.
Say what, Joey?
I said I wound up sitting there with my friends watching that when we first got together at one point before the whole hoo-ha.
It was one of the few monster horror movies that I was actually rooting for the monsters because, I mean, granted, everything in that movie was brutal as hell, but sometimes... sometimes.
It's very brutal.
But see, sometimes you have to root for the brutalness because you don't get to see it so often. Like there's, I don't know how to say this accurately. There's brutal where it's horrifying, and then there's brutal where it's fun. Like, if you, a Quentin Tarantino movie, you would probably say brutal for fun.
Yeah, he's just a sick man, so.
I would go so far as to say like the Alien franchise so far. Like the first couple Alien movies were all were brutal because for fear's sake.
Yeah.
Going
especially the first one.
Like there are times I can't even watch the first one because it scares me so much.
Well, it's because you're not expecting that to happen to the guy and everything else. It's just
right.
The way it introduces the alien itself.
But from that to Alien Covenant, which when I went to go see it, it was like the first Alien movie I had seen in theaters, which in of itself was a trip for me. But there were points in that film where I was cheering for the damn xenomorph because it's like, finally I get to see it rip people to shreds on the big screen. And that movie wasn't exactly scary to me. It was like, okay, I'm watching it. Yay, you're kicking ass. The alien is doing what the alien's supposed to do. It's being a murder machine. It's everything I was hoping for an alien movie. And the thing is, I hate that. Because, I mean, the main goal for an alien movie shouldn't be for you to cheer for the thing that's killing everyone. You're supposed to, I don't know if you guys have watched, The Descent.
Yes.
The Descent is a movie where it's like, you get these people who are trapped in this cave or whatever, and you're seeing monsters going after them. So you're cheering for them. So you
have a second one to that too.
A part two, right. What I'm trying to say is, like, with that movie, like I said, it starts out with you wanting to cheer for the humans and everything. You're like, get out, you can get out. The monsters are scary and everything. That's like a few horror movies that I'm like, okay, where the creature flick, where the creatures are actually scary. Because you don't know what's going to happen. But with alien movies, going so far as the Predator movies, it's like, it's too much of a good thing, I guess. You know? You get too much alien and suddenly the xenomorph's not scary anymore. Or disturbing anymore. Like, I can go on and on about the Alien franchise. The Alien franchise is like my version of Star Wars. It's like Star Wars to Dad. Alien is to me. I guess you'd say. Anyways, we got about 12 minutes left, and I haven't even gotten to my favorite kaiju/monster movie yet. This one is part of a franchise. If you've known me for a while, you know how much I love this movie, or the movie franchise in of itself. Dad, I know for a fact you've watched the second film in this franchise, because we watched it one time when we were going down to Florida, not Florida, we were going down to Louisiana. This movie recently got a sequel a couple years ago in a very interesting viral marketing campaign. 2008's Cloverfield. And it's pseudo sequel to Cloverfield Lane, which I know me and Dad watched, because that's the movie we watched on the way down to Louisiana. The third movie in the franchise, Cloverfield Paradox, came out on the same night as it was announced and released on Netflix the exact same day. So it was a surprise release. But I'm going back to the original Cloverfield movie, which was a 2008 film directed by Matt Reeves, the director of the upcoming The Batman film. Uh, it was a 82-minute long found footage film where a bunch of where a group of young adults are celebrating one of them getting a job in Japan. And it's like last hurrah. Suddenly a monster attacks New York, and shit just evolves from that point on. I've always loved Cloverfield. The monster itself was amazing. The found footage style, which I never would have ever dreamed of, which was a found footage film taken. It's like you get to be in the middle of a Godzilla movie, but you are seeing it from the perspective of the human. You're seeing it from the eyes of a human. You're on the ground. You're not in the air. You're not firing missiles. You're just running for your life. Which I've always thought is an amazing concept that I'm surprised more people haven't tried to do. I mean, you always get... I mean, sure, the monster movies are about the monsters. But Cloverfield was a creature flick that just made so... it was a lot of fun to watch. I'm just gonna be honest. It was a lot of fun to watch. It was a definitive American monster movie that wasn't related to Godzilla or King Kong. It had an incredible viral marketing campaign, and on top of all of that, it was written and produced by J.J. Abrams before the Star Trek, before the Star Wars phenomenon. It was J.J. Abrams doing J.J. Abrams, which I think everyone can agree that J.J. Abrams is an amazing director and an amazing producer, and he has amazing storylines and everything. So, I will defend Cloverfield till the day I die. That movie is such a great movie. You guys are free to talk now.
There is one thing that I want to point out, and it's not technically a kaiju-ish. I mean, it kind of is, it kind of isn't, but it's an anime, and
Neon Genesis Evangelion?
No. I mean, yeah, Neon Genesis Evangelion is a kaiju-esque movie, but
series.
I would go back to, series. Well, they have movies too.
Yeah, sure.
But I would also like to go out and point out Digimon. Digimon Adventure, the series, as it's called in Japan, involves kids going into another world and whatnot.
I don't think that would.
It does still technically count as kaiju, due to the fact that some of the monsters in their different evolutions basically are almost the size of Godzilla compared to these children. And I mean legitimate size of Godzilla.
I don't know. I haven't watched enough Digimon to understand. Okay. I mean that in itself, I'm getting whiplash from the conversation because it went from Cloverfield, a 2008 found footage horror monster movie, to cuteness of Digimon.
Oh no! There is not. It's not just cute. There are moments in it where you're like, why is this happening to these children? Especially when you get to the Digimon Adventures Tri movies. I would like for you, if you haven't, you can try to blast through the first part of Digimon Adventures was just the very first 10 episodes.
I'll do what I can.
If you,
At
I'm
some
saying
point.
if you can, just watch the first 10 episodes of the original Digimon. It has to just be Digimon. You can't have any other thing. You can't be Digimon 02. Can't, it has to just be Digimon.
Right.
Don't watch the 2020 version. I mean, you can, but it doesn't. It doesn't match with the original, and it doesn't continue from Try. Um,
Right.
but when you watch the first 10 episodes of original Digimon, yeah, you're gonna sit there and be like, "Oh, this is too cutesy and adorable." If you get into it and just or something, you will see the difference from going from what's going on there to later parts in the series, because it goes downhill every now and again. Yeah, it has a happy ending for the anime, but if you do get into it, watch that, then go on to the Adventure 2, and
Right.
I'm saying just take your time with it,
Mm-hmm.
and we can come back at a future version of this if you can get into it. Watch that, watch the quote unquote second season, and then if you can, try to get into Try.
Right.
You will see how it goes from being cutesy to
Oh.
it goes from, oh, this is so fun, this is, oh, okay, well, that's happening, oh, okay, back to cutesy now, oh, yeah, yay, oh my god, my feels, why? That's literally the roller coaster that it gets you on.
Right.
I just wanted to say that the main reason why I didn't go and just like tackle Falcon and Winter Soldier yesterday was due to the fact that I was finishing up the Try movies. Yeah.
Alright, well, we got about 3.5 minutes left of this. I'm gonna give a couple of disclaimers here. I believe next week will feature myself. Next week's episode of the DSC-Cast podcast will feature myself, Tony, and I might talk, Harrison into joining us for maybe an anime-themed, podcast. We'll have to discuss, we'll have to see, we'll have to talk about it, during the week. We'll know by next Sunday what happens or if it happens. I would also like to express a warning to any listeners who are currently watching. There are scenes that are being leaked online from Godzilla vs. Kong. I have unfortunately watched a couple of these scenes. I'm not gonna spoil anything for anyone until after we've seen the movie. Godzilla vs. Kong releases in the United States on Wednesday night, March 31st, with on in theaters and on HBO Max. Me and Tony, we're gonna go see the IMAX version on Wednesday night. So and Tony, I'll give you information regarding that if you need it. So after the podcast, but yeah, more than likely we'll talk a little bit about Godzilla vs. Kong next week, as well. So, I want to express a big thank you to the Gag for taking time out of his day to come join us once again. He may or may not be able to make it to the podcast in the near future, due to some occupation scheduling changes. We may have to talk about fixing it at some point. Trying to find a better date for future episodes. We'll have to figure that out at some point.
But the date's okay. It may just have to be a little bit later.
Right. I don't want to make it too far later because, I mean, it's almost 5 o'clock for us now, and we got the DSC stuff in a couple hours, so.
Okay. Well, if you make it at least 4 o'clock, that'd be okay.
4 o'clock
should be okay.
4 o'clock would be good. I need at least an hour, maybe 2 hours to work on to make sure everything's going good. Everything's set up for Callon duty tonight. So I'll talk to Daniel, talk to Spooky, and see what we can do about that. Colonica of Duty, DSC CMP Minecraft stuff. Well, live stream begins at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for all my friends out on the Pacific Coast. That being Spooky. We'll have to talk about what's going on with that. I want to say thank you to Big State for giving us access to use their music on their Spotify discography on today's this afternoon's podcast. Their music will probably be featured in tonight's stream as well as some future streams with DSC stuff. So expect that as well. You can check them out on Spotify using the Spotify code on screen, or check them out on Twitter at BetaState, BECASTACE. They are a great band. I've loved them for years, and I want to say again thank you to them for letting us use their music. That's pretty much it for today's episode of the DSC-Cast podcast. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. The vlog will be up on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube today. So, do that. And I will see you guys in about 2.5 hours when we start up the DSC CMP stuff. And I will also see you guys on Thursday, on April 1st, for some Siege stuff. So, also, Dag, I'm going to tell you about something after we get out of this. So, thank you all very much for watching, and I hope everyone has a wonderful, wonderful rest of their day.